I don't know what to make of this. This happened to me at the beginning of 2021. I don't remember the exact date, but it was still winter. I was working at the time, and my schedule was always 7 days of work and 5 of rest. Every break, I would spend at my country house, which is a good 40 minutes walk away from the nearest town. I have never been scared of being alone. I actually appreciate the quiet. Anyways, it was only me and my dog. It was windy and cold, but I had the fireplace running, so the room was pretty warm. I usually keep the door open, just slightly, because of the fire, but since it was so windy I had it closed. Mind you, I had to lock it or it would stay open, and I only kept the window, that had bars, quiet like a prison cell, open, just a little. I can swear on my life that the door was closed. And I was warm and comfortable, so I kept almost falling asleep, only wanting to stay awake to finish the movie I was watching. Once the movie ended, at about 1 or 2 a.m., I kept procrastinating going to bed because I would have to go outside and it was too cold. I fell asleep at some point and woke up to someone knocking at my door. To give you some context, everything around my country house is fenced, to the point where it's almost impossible to get in, much less at night, so I obviously thought it was a family member, because they have keys, and since I locked the door, they couldn't open it from the outside. I looked at the clock, and was able to read the numbers. I checked the TV and could read the subtitles. I know it wasn't a dream. I got up, opened the door, and found someone. That was definitely not a family member. There he stood. I always think of it as a male, an inhumanely tall and lanky, arms and legs stretched to the point of looking like almost a wire. I couldn't even see his face. He was too tall for his frame to fit fully. He ducked, and his face came into view, except there was no face and no hair, just a shape that somewhat resembled a head. He spoke, his tone gentle, like that of a friend. That freaked me out even more. How did he speak without a mouth? May I come in? It's a ruthless night out there. I nodded, too scared to even have a fight or fly reaction, moved away from the door to let him in. He graciously ducked inside, then stood his full height, touching the ceiling with his head. I tried not to show how scared I was, thinking it would be worse if he saw it, although my eyes did widen despite my best efforts. My dog, too tired after a day of running, playing, and jumping around, stayed asleep. I took that as a good sign. It would be going crazy if he was dangerous, right? The lanky man decided to sit down by the fire, in a very small chair, only used to stroke the fire since its legs were cut shorter than usual. It looked almost comical. The seat was directly in front of where I had been sitting. Too scared to accidentally offend him, I sat back there, and simply watched TV while pretending I didn't feel him staring at me. He didn't talk at all. After a few hours, he raised from the seat, walked to the door, and patiently waited until I joined him. "Thank you for letting me warm myself," he said, before ducking and leaving as if nothing had happened. I sat down, intending to not leave the room until the sun raised. I fell asleep at some point and woke up when my dog had a nightmare. He's really loud. The door was open, the keys still hanging where I had last put him to lock the door. The door was open, but I swear I had closed it. To this day, I still wonder what would have happened if I hadn't let him in. I still spend my days at my country house, knowing, or hoping, that I will just need to be kind.